comments. We're going to do the in-person first. We have a few of them switched to Zoom. We're sure grateful for this technology that we have in place that we can bring comment in this way. So we're like 1 minute ahead of schedule on my computer. This clock says we're right on time. So we'll start off with Heidi Matthews. We can turn that mic on and just, yeah, thank you.
Good morning. Big sigh today. Very happy that the legislative session is over. I'm Heidi Matthews, teacher serving as the president of the Utah Education Association. I am excited to share that the current UEA Vice President Renee Pinkney has been elected to be the next UEA president, and that the Brandon Baca from Wilbur school district has been elected to be the next UEA vice president. They will take office in the middle of July, where I will be on a beach with sand in my toes, a book in my hand, and there will be a little umbrella in that coconut. I want to express gratitude for you today. Our UEA team on the Hill, Dr. Sarah Jones and Chase Clyde and Jay Blaine, and our executive director, Jennifer Bainey, they join me in acknowledging the incredible work that was done on behalf of you as a board, and especially we want to acknowledge the tremendous work of the USBE staff, Sid and Patty and Scott and Angie, Leah, Jeff, and I hope we didn't miss anyone. Angie, Jeff in particular, wow, some of your testimony was just really fabulous. We celebrate the unanimous passage of House Bill 396, the paid professional hours for educators. And I've said it many times, while it doesn't create more hours in the day, it does respect the enormous time our educators invest so they can be the best for their students. Thank you for listening. Thank you for partnering on that. And I know that will be such a benefit for our educators moving into the future. Your commitment to all students was so evident this session. We look forward to partnering you in your thorough and inclusive process, particularly on the ethnic studies with Senate Bill 244 and all of the many opportunities that we have with our school libraries. As a school librarian for 16 years, that's near and dear. So joke that it was the best and the worst of times this season, and I'd love to, again, thank you for standing strong against the worst and for your strength in advocating for the best in this legislative session. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we'll invite Darlene McDonald. Jenna Prothero. You see Jenna? Oh, there.
Good morning. My name is Jenna Prothero, and I am a mother of a son that attends a school in Davis County. I want to let you know that tomorrow is SEL Day. So we get to celebrate our teachers and students and the progress that has been made with our schools by being mindful, kind, learning to care about others, and continue to create a safe school environment. I am lucky enough to be on the parent committee for SEL at my son's school. I invite all of you to celebrate with us as we continue on this wonderful path that SEL has created within our school system. With that being said, I want you to all know that I am an activist that supports teachers. I am a parent co-founder of Elevate Public Education Utah. With this role, I have spent hours listening to teachers. So when I say hours, I mean like I have a full-time job and I am literally doing this 4 hours a day. So with that, I want to also let you know that many of them have emotional and physical burnout. They have been through so much with COVID-19 and having to quickly make changes with our lesson plans. With the recent legislative session, our teachers have been attacked and abused by our lawmakers. I stand here in front of you today letting you know that A majority of you are also impacted. I know that you are. SEL is for everyone, not just students. We are all learning. We have emotions. We have a life outside of school. Several of these teachers are experiencing anxiety and mental issues with what are we going to do about it? I have some suggestions, and I'm definitely going to go ahead and email you with those suggestions. This will help all of our students as well because they are going to be able to learn more efficiently if the teachers are also being taken care of with their emotional and mental needs. I truly care about our teachers because they impact the world and because they're humans. And I also want to let you know with the HB1 bill that attacked our transgender youth, I would like to ask you all to make a public statement to all of our teachers, all of our students, all of the administration to let them know that we love all students, including our transgender students. Thank you.
Next, we'll have Lexi Cunningham.
Thank you, Chair.
Oh, by Zoom, I guess. There we go.
Okay.
We're good.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Chair Huntsman and members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to speak this morning. I just want to take a minute to thank all of you on the board and the leadership at USBE for a wonderful session. From USSA and USBA, we enjoyed working with you through the ups and downs of the session. Very thankful for the support that we had on the Hill and our JLC meetings, working on our priorities, and we are looking forward to next meeting, learning more about bills and the budget. We could not do the work that we do without the support of the board. So thank you all for your support and your commitment to public education. You are appreciated from our organization, and we look forward to continuing to work together. Thank you.
And thank you. And next, we'll go to Kelly Strabel. Juliet Reynolds.
Hello, I'm here today because our kids are in crisis and our LGBT community is in a direct line of fire with horrific anti-LGBT legislation happening across the nation. I commend Utah for fighting against this for our community, but more needs to be done. I'm here today with a desperate request that the State Board of Education make a public statement to let our youth know they matter and we support them. Mental health among all students is struggling, and the suicide of a classmate affects the entire student body. This is not just an LGBT crisis. Our kids spend most of their waking hours at school, so our local administrators need to reiterate this message to students so they know they are safe and that educators will be empowered to use resources to aid them. I'm a parent of LGBT kids, and I have the right to have safe schools for them. I am speaking for them, their peers, your students, their classmates, and our future. I have please help change this narrative of intolerance and to healing and community building. Our state needs to hear it, our educators need to see it, and our kids need to experience it. Their lives are depending on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Monica Wilbur.
Good morning, Board and Chair. Thank you for this time. Member Klein's message at the beginning of the meeting on the need for simplicity fits right into with my comment today. It's now March 2022, and I'm going to start by asking a question. What steps are the board taking to come into compliance with the state audit findings issued last year in April? The audit asked the question, how well do USB's strategic plan, mission, and vision align with Utah code? Utah is unique in that the USB's mission and vision are both specified in Utah code. And you can see up here, it's up on the board. You have your own vision and your own mission, but they don't align with what state code says you must be doing. USBE's mission focuses on creating equitable conditions and does not mention their role with occupational skills, character development, and assessment for accountability. And USBE's vision lacks mention of their role in providing elements beyond educational achievements, such as strong moral and social values and loyalty and commitment to constitutional government. The audit says notable differences exist between the two. The USBE doesn't have any education training modules dedicated to academics and constitutional principles, but you are producing by the ream modules and guidance dedicated to equity. With the board's obsessive focus on equity, could you blame anyone for wondering if the E in USBE stands for the Utah State Board of Equity? Education's being lost in the process here. I think the board should be prioritizing its mission and vision to come into compliance with Utah law. And I'd encourage you as a board to put that on your next agenda. It really needs to be done. That way you are consistent with your constitutional authority and your statutory authority. Thank you.
Next, we'll invite Kelly Jones.
Good morning. My name is Kelly Jones. I'm a parent, teacher, and advocate with GLSEN of Northern Utah, a volunteer group of parents advocating for LGBTQI+ students and students of color in grades K through 12. Thank you to the board for a minute to speak. The last few weeks we have watched as underrepresented students' lives and learning has been impacted by legislation across the country. Have you noticed how often these bills reflect a lack of education, a lack of understanding, a profound fear of difference by adults, but not so much by our students as they stage walkouts to protest discrimination and ignorance? As educators, we have the opportunity to help. We can and must work within the bounds of our responsibilities to lift more voices and ensure the necessary learning happens so that our children are not taught to fear difference or to fear others, but rather given the tools to empathize and care about others. These tools are harder to measure than math scores, but they're just as important. These lessons of caring, they often learn at home and can then be carried forward into the classroom as well. We have the opportunity and duty to extend hope to these students. In light of some of the actions of our legislators, educators must work double time so that our students on the margins are not enveloped by fear, do not close down, and are not made to feel unsafe at school. Instead, all students must have real access to learning that encourages them to open up, engage, and succeed. One way I ask you to consider making an impact for these students is to ensure that as the sensitive materials bill is considered, that we proportionately consider the needs of our students in AP classes who have regularly been asked to read challenging works to encourage their growth. If implemented too broadly, our AP accreditation will be removed. If we remove books from our libraries and reading lists, we will restrict the opportunity of our students to excel. We must take care to ensure that books by Black, Brown, Indigenous, Pacific Islander, gay, transgender, non-binary authors are not removed. Thank you for your help.
Thank you. We'll now go to our Zoom calls. Bernadette Brockman, are you with us?
I am, thank you.
Okay, we can hear you.
You can hear me? Good, thank you. Thank you for your time. In order to have open and honest communication, both sides need to come to the table and discuss things in a manner that is conducive to the learning environment of our children. This does not seem to be happening with this document. The primary stakeholders, which are parents, I was looking at the Utah's digital access ecosystem, as well as Board Member Klein's presentation this morning, and I do not find anywhere on those slides where the primary stakeholders, the parents,
were included in the process. I would strongly encourage each of you as board members to make a paradigm shift and return to the approach of academic excellence instead of focusing on divisive concepts that revolve around race, sexualizing our kids, and pandering to specific parts of the community. If we are to embrace all differences, all voices need to be heard. The point of the education system is to teach our children math, reading, science, English, history, civics, literature, hopefully shifting back to classical literature, and challenging them to strive for excellence. You don't do this by creating content that leads to division or marginalize some groups through victimization and creating oppressors in others. You don't help them strive for excellence when you continually have them focus on the differences in each other. You create division. Our kids, all kids, deserve the best possible education. Fostering a climate of academic excellence is far superior to fostering a climate of differences and pitting our kids and their parents against each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Jessica Colt.
Yep, hello. I am here on Zoom. My name is Jessie Colt, and I am an educator, instructor, a supervisor, a school counselor, a community counselor, and I'm also the program director of the professional school counseling program at Utah State University. I've had over 9 years of experience in the school setting as a licensed school counselor, and am currently a community counselor also. So I'll reference and speak to Board Rule R277301 relating to educator licensing. So I'm speaking to support the movement towards having licensed educators serve as school counselors specifically, moving forward with their pre-service professional involvement. So I'm advocating for counselors in training to hold an associate license at minimum while completing their program of study, while completing their practicum, while completing their internship requirements before they are hired as a school counselor. So counselors in training need to show appropriate professional competencies and dispositions as they go through their pre-service training. And then those competencies and dispositions are where we recommend them for full licensure as they graduate from our programs. So these are continually being assessed throughout their coursework and their hands-on experiences and practicum and internship in their programs. So counselors that are in training, they may show concerns during these essential times of learning and practice in the school setting, which is where my support and encouragement of holding a license, so specifically an associate license at minimum during these times, could prevent a student in training from being referred by the program to get their full professional license. So holding that associate license during their practicum and internship experiences should be essential across the state to ensure professionals that are in training have taken the mandatory ethics exams, provided necessary information to the state supporting their associate licensure and credentials for practice. So being currently enrolled in a school counseling program and then upholding their background check. So a school counselor in sum is essential employee to the school setting, and a master's degree is necessary to serve as a school counselor across the United States. A professional license is also mandatory to support a school counselor in practice due to various legal and ethical concerns that come along with school counseling situations and counseling in general. So my question, to ask all of you too, would you schedule yourself or have your child see a clinical counselor or social worker that was not licensed, at least with their associate license or intern license? So this is the same, but in a school setting, serving K through 12 students.
Jessica, can
Individuals
you sum,
who are,
please? Your time is up. Can you sum your
Yep.
comments? Thank you.
Last one, yep. Individuals who are not licensed and are currently employed without a license is concerning from our program's perspective and for the school counseling profession as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will invite Becky Hope on Zoom. Becky, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. I want to go ahead and uninvite everyone to the celebration of the SEL in Davis because it is not a celebration, it is a push CRT in our school and their agenda. And I also want you to know that I spent the last year and a half learning the verbiage that is CRT, and that is, excuse me, equity and inclusion. Those are the two terms that you guys use so often in your documents. Therefore, every single member of this board is allowing the swift ushering in of an ideology that will destroy public education and will try to destroy our children's young minds. You board members have had the last 2 years to pay attention and understand what's happening in our nation and our state. Your educational equity PowerPoint proves to me and all of the other parents who have been watching this board over the past year that you aren't listening and you will choose special interest groups and legal threats over our children, your children and your grandchildren. You know children in the public education system. They will be harmed by this just as much as ours. Those who have told you what they want you to think educational equity is are those pushing an agenda. And this board has fallen for it, and you have not reached out to us to get answers to what parents and teachers really want. Teachers don't want what UEA tells you they want. Parents don't want what Access tells you that we want. We have told you over and over, and you didn't care to hear us. You instead let your staff and the superintendent usher in corrupt and destructive curriculum and ideas. And I want to, excuse me, tell board member Klein that I appreciate so much her powerful, her honest presentation this morning. All of you take note. That is what parents want. We do not want what all of the speakers this morning who are there, minus Monica, have told you that we want. They are just an ideology. They are special interest groups that are coming and telling you what they want. And it's not about the children. Board member Klein hit the nail on the head when she kept speaking about children. That's what this is about. You guys are all guilty of ushering in this destructive curriculum, and you may not see it yet. You will not see the harm immediately. We see the harm. Maybe you don't now, but you will see it in the future. So we would like you to actually pay attention. You have had plenty of time. I thank you for your time today.
That concludes all of our Zoom. I'm going to go back and see if Darlene McDonald, Darlene present? No. Kelly Trebell? No. Well, that concludes our public comment portion of our agenda. I want to thank all those that participated this day.